Hello, and yes, welcome to Your Business Live. I'm Chris Chanchuli, and this is Connexx. We're here on Tuesdays and Thursdays to highlight different members of our community so they can tell you about the services that they offer and how they can help you and your business to do more business. Best way to describe it. Today's guest is someone that I have used, I currently use, I've recommended to friends of mine. I know many members of Connexx also use him, and he's a great guy who provides a great service, and I'm excited to have him on. So without further ado, I would like to bring on Christian Smith. Hey, Christian, how are you?
What's up, Chris? How are you?
I'm great, because today is Sean Rosenfeld's birthday, and the fact that we are going to have Sean pop on up just so we can say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, Shawnee.
Thank you. Are you gonna sing? Are you gonna sing for me? Or maybe later.
Yeah. How old are you, Sean?
34 years young.
34 years old. Do you have any exciting plans for today?
Just working and gonna celebrate a little Taco Tuesday for dinner.
There you go.
In my backyard.
Nice. Well, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday right out of the gate here. So I put together this scrolling screen, which I took a lot of time to ask you to please write happy birthday, Sean, for me. So it would scroll across. So you're welcome. And if not today, we'll do lunch tomorrow or Friday on Christian.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you later. So Christian, tell us about ADP. Tell us how you ended up at ADP, but don't start with that. Start earlier to the 3 years leading up to ADP. Who are you? What did you do before you got to the company that you're with now?
Sure. So leading up to ADP, it was my first job out of college. I went to SUNY New Paltz. I played volleyball there, got my degree in finance. And as I was coming out of school, they had contacted me on LinkedIn. I think the athlete background and just the competitive nature that I brought really appealed to them. And I had initially planned on going overseas to play volleyball, which I ended up doing. But ADP got me in the door. I interviewed with them. I got an apprenticeship with them. And I started the job, and then they offered me the full-time position about 3 weeks in. And I was kind of shocked at first because I really know what I was getting myself into. But I ended up working there for around, I think it was like 6 or 7 months. Really loved it. And then I went over to Greece, played volleyball, and then came back. And my boss at the time, Megan Hink, as well as Amy Braun, kept in touch. Were very hands-on with me at all times. And I really just appreciated how they treated me at that time. So I came back once I was done playing, and 4 years later, now we're here. So really enjoyed my time. It's been a really great company. They treated me really, really well. So I'm forever grateful for that.
What aspects about the job or your job description do you like? What makes it such a great position that's a good fit for you?
I think just talking to different business owners each and every day and hearing their stories. I've learned so much, over the past 4 years from guys like yourself, guys like Sean, just hearing people's backgrounds and how they've developed business and just business acumen and things of that nature. I think that really appealed to me, and just the day-to-day of going on appointments each and every day and having the opportunity to present, the service that we provide and the technology that we provide to different business owners and just helping them get started. And it's really cool to see when, you're able to help them on the back end with their business.
What would you say the biggest misconception is about ADP or a payroll service in general?
There's a couple misconceptions to it. I think the first is that it's really expensive. I'm a big believer. I work in the outsourcing industry. I believe in outsourcing. And I think for the price that you pay for the said service, I think it is worth, especially if you're a business owner and you're focused on your product or your service, you should be focused on selling that rather than worrying about, the back end stuff of maybe the accounting, the payroll, things that, compliance, things with New York State that really are headaches that you really don't want to deal with, especially if you're really focused on driving the profitability of your business. So I think just easing that headache for business owners, it really, when people believe in it and people actually experience the product and the service that they're provided, it really goes a long way with people, and they don't have to worry about something, as simple but yet complicated as payroll.
What or who would be your ideal customer to be working with? How big of a company or how many employees do you prefer them to have?
Sure. So we don't discriminate on size. So I have companies like yourself, Chris, where it's a one-man show. We have owner-only one-man S corporations, or we have up to 10,000 employee companies. So I think everyone's situation is a little bit different. So you could be an owner-only company that gets paid once a month, or you could be a fast-moving restaurant that has 50 employees with all these different rates. But we have different systems that can handle, as your business grows and as you add employees, there's different regulations and compliance issues that kind of come about when it comes to reporting in your respective states and federally. So it's not really a one-size-fit-all. It kind of molds to like what your business is. So yeah, I'd say that like the majority of my business is small business owners, anywhere from that 1 to 50 employee range is kind of like our sweet spot.
And do you go to your customers for meetings and all? Do they need to come to you? How has this COVID-19 affected how you do day-to-day business?
So before COVID, it was a lot. I would go out to the person's said place of business, or if they didn't have some sort of office, we'd meet at a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. And everything can be done, virtually through a computer, or, through electronic signatures. So I enjoy the face-to-face meeting aspect of it. Now, shifting to what's kind of transpired with COVID is a lot of my meetings are through Zoom or over the phone, where it's conference calls or just finding out about their business and what their certain needs are during this time, and then evaluating from there and making the process as easy as possible on them in terms of coming on board or any sort of questions that they may have going forward.
If someone is just starting a business or their business is in the infancy stages, do you recommend or suggest that they start off with a payroll company like ADP at that point, or should they wait until they've got a little bit of time under their belt to reach out to you?
I would say starting off from right off the bat, because there's a lot of different things. Obviously, there's the payroll, and what's great about it is, and you know this from experience, Chris, is you're in full control of what you're actually going to pay yourself or your set employees at that time. So you always have full control of when the payrolls ran and when money is actually moved. And second to that point is if you are a business just starting out and you are eventually looking to grow down the road and hire employees, you're like, hey, I don't have employees right now. We partner up with ZipRecruiter. It's included in our service. So you actually get a job slot on ZipRecruiter straight through our website. So if you are looking to hire, or maybe you're not initially, you could still post and say, hey, I'm looking for, maybe a receptionist or maybe a line clerk, maybe just anything like that, to where you have that accessibility. So when you do expand your business, you have those parameters in place in order to grow.
Got it. You've been with ADP for how many years did you say? 4?
Yeah, 4th year now, 4th fiscal. Yep.
You don't have to tell the name of the business or the person, but what's a company that stands out to you that you've seen a rapid growth, or them start at one size and over the course of 4 years, like, impress you?
It's a great question. It's funny enough, but he's actually at my house right now. It's Alvin Gomez from Steertown Cleaning. He's actually cleaning my house currently, but he was one of my early clients early on that I was introduced to through a connection of mine. And he had just started out his business, I think around 4 years ago now. And it was just him and one other person. And he set up these parameters, these HR parameters with compliance, with reporting to the state. And he was referred to me by his uncle, who's his accountant. And he wanted to make sure he was doing everything right, so he wasn't going to get fined by the Department of Labor, attacked by the IRS, things of that nature. So he put those parameters in place, and now he has a staff of 11 people. And we put these HR solutions in place. So as he's grown over the years, and it's been phenomenal to see, that's one of the most satisfying things, is see a company like his size, where it's just him and one other person, grow to an 11, 12 employee company to now they're a very successful business. And even during this time of COVID, he's still busy. So he's an example I use all the time of a guy who, to your point, Chris, just started out when it was just him and one other person. And now as he's grown, he hasn't missed a beat or a step when it comes to compliance with, the state or any sort of like payroll regulations.
That's great. And yes, and thank you. You brought him to Connexx. So it's I love you having those success stories that we're able to share in each other's success, because as we've talked about, that's what it's all about. One last question from me before we open it to Sean. How would you say Connexx has benefited you or helped with the relationships that you've developed among the community? Sure.
So to your credit, Chris, I was introduced to you about 4 years ago when I first started by a gentleman named Jeff Boschnack at a different group at the time. And I saw the growth mode that you were in. When we were in that other group, it was at 25 people, and then it expanded to 105. So I had true belief in you at the time. And just in terms of Connexx, I think the difference between Connexx and other groups that I've been a part of, or just associations, is the way it challenges you on not only like a business level to kind of check in with you, but on a personal level, it really develops you and kind of makes you reflect within. And then the relationships that I've built with people like yourself, like Sean, like Alden, like a bunch of other people, it's just invaluable in terms of when I need something for whether it's business or personal, I need to bounce an idea off somebody. There are people at my disposal who have gone through these experiences, and it's helped me grow as a person tremendously. And I'm very thankful for it and forever grateful for it. I think a lot of times people look at a networking group as just like passing business along, but the big difference with Connexx is those personal connections that you're able to develop with these people that are truly invested in you and what you're trying to do. And it makes you want to invest in the people in the group as well, even more personally. So I think just that personal connection and just how dynamic it is, where each meeting, whether, before when we were meeting face to face, it was something new every Wednesday. It was something different. Like you weren't just going in and saying a 20-second, commercial. It was, you were challenging us with questions to really help us as business owners or people in business. And that's something where when people are thinking on their toes and adjusting according to that, I think that provides growth within itself. So
awesome. Thank you. That's a great answer. And I agree with everything that you just said. It is a dynamic group of people, and it can only be as good as the energy that people bring to the table. And I attribute to the success and growth of Connexx to having people like yourself who are positive, upbeat, and don't look at things as problems, but look at them as challenges and how to overcome them. Yeah. Sean, any questions that have come through for Christian? Do you have any niches that you specialize in?
Not specifically. So I have doctors, dentists, lawyers, restaurants, trainers. It's really a variety of different businesses at this point. I wouldn't say there's really one specific industry that I've dealt with over the years, but pretty much any sort of industry that is around. I even had a bubble tea company, which I didn't even know what bubble tea was, but something like that. So pretty much, I guess, seen every type, construction. Yeah, really every type of company. There's different things that we could help with for them.
What about, are you able to work with businesses outside of New York, or do you have to stay in the state?
Great question. So I don't have any specific territory. So like, for instance, if I'm referred by, let's say, Christian Smith, thank you. You have referred me many a times. And it's a company in California. I could do everything over the phone for the company in California. I have clients in Nebraska, Florida, Missouri. And there's different state regulations with these different states. And what's great with ADP is we do the jobs report for the country. So we have access to these different reports for all 50 states. So there's really no surprise, or when a company in Iowa pops up that I'm referred to, I'm able to get the proper documentation for them in order to get everything set.
What if someone is currently with ADP, but like I know someone who I'm close with who's with ADP, but their rep is not nearly as responsive as you are. doesn't get to things very fast. Is there any benefit to recommend someone who's already with ADP, but you being the one to take care of them and revamp maybe the way they have things set up?
Yeah, I'd be happy to help them, especially if they're close with somebody like you, Chris, or anybody else in the Connexx group, or if they're using ADP, I'd be happy to help and see if they have any questions or have any service or just want a review of their account. I'd be happy to help. But I think, from experience with my clients, it's the communication is always the key, and all of them have my cell phone. And if there's an issue or a question or something pops up, you shoot me a text or you give me an email, and I try to respond as fast as I can to you guys. So
yeah, no, you definitely are good. How's COVID-19 impacted your business, and how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I enjoy the working from home part. I had probably about 2 years ago been our corporate office is in Melville, but I, for the most part, have been working on my house in Long Beach for the past, 2.5 years or so, and really made that adjustment. The only difference is just not going out and meeting people face to face is definitely an aspect that I miss. In terms of the business itself, it's been very busy because of all the PPP loan, the SBA loan. There's a lot of different questions and kind of chaos with people trying to apply for those loans, and payroll reporting is a big aspect of actually getting the money for that loan. So, we've been getting a ton of questions, especially when this first hit. And anytime there's some sort of change or chaos in the market, it benefits us because there's questions, and we're here to be a resource for our clients at that time.
Well, I can say, and to anyone who isn't using ADP or Christian, I cannot give a stronger recommendation to or for Christian, because he's very attentive. He'll answer any question. If he doesn't have an answer, he'll get you an answer within minutes. And it really dispelled, I thought, only big companies. And if you're doing well into the six figures, you would need to have someone manage and organize. But the amount of time when tax time came back, I filed in February or so, January, February. My accountant, Jeff Boschnick, you were able to provide everything that I just had to then give to him. It saved me hours and hours of putting things together, which I would do in the past. So just the amount of time that you gave me back, that made it worth it right there.
Appreciate that, Chris.
So thank you for being part of Connexx. Thank you for a great service that you provide for myself and all the members. And thank you for being here today. And if anyone has any questions, Christian's info is right there underneath. Cell phone, email, and anything else that you want to know about Christian, business or personal, reach out to him directly, and he would be more than happy to answer. If you want him to just try on that jersey behind him right there, he'd love to try it on for you if it'll lead to a meeting at Starbucks.
There you
go. Awesome. Thank you, Christian. We'll see you tomorrow morning at the Connexx meeting.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And I'm sorry Sean cut you off. It's his birthday, though, so we can't yell at him or anything. All right, Sean, come back on so I can wish you happy birthday once again. What'd you learn about Christian? Anything you didn't know that he covered?
So I've actually I've referred Christian before, and he's just such a nice guy. And when he says something, you can be sure he's going to follow up with it. So my company, we deal with similar clients who need payroll services. So Christian and I have a nice synergy for referring each other, and I think he's just a great guy. So I enjoy.
He's also really, really tall. If you never noticed before, he's like 6'7". So for people like us who don't quite clear 5'6", 5'7", you just notice right off the bat.
Competitive volleyball player, and
yes. And he can slam dunk a basketball. Again, unlike us. So
speak for yourself.
Yeah. Great jumping ability. Well, I want to wish you a happy birthday yet again. I wish we had an in-person meeting so everyone could sing to you. We'll have to put something together. Maybe tomorrow on the Zoom call tomorrow morning, we'll all sing happy birthday to Sean. Jacqueline better do a birthday cake or something in her background. A tribute to Sean. All right. Well, Sean,
All right.
send it on back up so I can go full screen. This is when I feel
You got it.
like
Thanks.
I'm of full male height, more than just someone in junior high. All right. So we're back. I apologize. Sean pointed out the wire that I have hanging on the wall, and that will be removed for tomorrow's or Thursday's broadcast. And Sean said it right before we went live. So I was staring at it the whole time. Didn't know it was that obvious. But besides the wire and besides Sean being his birthday, I want to thank everyone who was on live to watch this take place. We keep it up in repeating indefinitely so that it will catch someone's eye at some point. And we hope that Christian Services, as well as any of the other members of Connexx, you will consider them, reach out to them. If they can provide a need or service that you're looking for, I can guarantee that you will get treated better than anyone that you would just Google or back in the days of Yellow Pages, because the members of Connexx, everything gets back and we police each other by giving feedback and helping each other grow from meeting to meeting, week to week, and whatever would go with that line. I lost myself. But to everyone that watched, thank you very much. And if you have any interest in learning more about Connexx or have a business yourself, please reach out. Information scrolling across the bottom. Everyone have a great day and see you at 12 noon on Thursday.